Eric McGray here from Veris Engineering with another episode of How They're Made. This time we're focusing on lower control arms and specifically the first operation in a two-operation process. And for that, we're starting out with this beautiful blank of 7075. And what we end up with is the in-process workpiece after Op 1 is complete. Look at that, nice and shiny. How do we achieve that nice and shiny finish? Well, the first thing I do is I rough out the majority of the material on the outside and then also on this pocket right here. And then that leaves the part still very thick and rigid, so that way when I come in finish those surfaces, there's very little vibration, almost no vibration in the part, so that way we get very nice surface finishes. After that's done, we'll go ahead and we'll create the features on the sides of the part there. So these through pockets, these blind pockets, these holes, this area as well, and we'll do that on both sides. We'll go ahead and chamfer all those edges as well. After that, we make our nice little proudly made in USA engraving. Go ahead and check that out. Yeah. And then once that's cut, we'll go ahead and work on the inside of what I like to call the wishbone shape. So this open area here, we'll rough that out about 50% of its final depth. And then once I've got that, I'll go ahead and chamfer this edge all along here. And what that does is it keeps the part, again, nice and rigid, so that way the tool or the part is not vibrating while making that cut, leaving a nice surface finish. After that chamfer, we'll go ahead and finish roughing the remaining depth of that area. And then we come in with a finishing tool to finish those interior walls. This operation was a bit tricky and it took a bit of effort to get the speed and feed finely tuned with the correct tool in order for it to not vibrate the part. Because the part in this stage is very thin and it's likely to vibrate, especially with as much force as you're putting in when cutting it, you have to be very careful about which speeds and feeds you choose. So yeah, I got that tuned, the spindle speed, got it nice and tuned in so that way it's not vibrating the part, and we're creating a nice surface finish there. One thing I forgot to mention were the threads on the end here for the adjuster. So we take an end mill and helically interpolate the minor diameter there, and then we'll come back with a thread mill and interpolate the threads. That gets chamfered as well. And one of the coolest operations to watch is the chamfers on the inside of these open pockets here. Basically, I'm using a spherical or lollipop style tool, an undercutting circle, something like that, whatever you want to call it. And we'll have to come in at various angles and work our way around in order to avoid colliding the tool with the part while still being able to reach all these undercuts. So that is a fun operation to watch, and it does a nice job of breaking those edges. That's about it for this stage of the cutting process. So stay tuned for Op 2. ladies and gentlemen, we're back in front of the big, beautiful UMC 750SS by Haas Automation, and we're working on the lower control arms for various Subaru chassis. You saw previously Operation 1. We just cut that from a big hunk of aluminum, 7075, and we finished that operation, and then that in-process workpiece becomes the stock for Operation 2, and the result of Operation 2 is a finished part. So what happens in Operation 2 is basically we're just removing the material left behind in Operation 1. I need something to hold on to when cutting a part, and obviously I can't cut that away if I need it to hold on to. So in Operation 1 we do about 90% of the work, and then Operation 2 is literally just finishing what Operation 1 could not get. So we go ahead and flip the part over, and then we remove all that material. We'll finish the faces and then break all the edges at the face intersections. So this is our fixture for the Operation 2. And what happens here is the part will sit inside this profile. We have these inserts here, which get screwed with these screws through the holes in the part, and then the insert will clamp against the side of the part. And then that's what holds it in place and gives us the ability to reach the areas of the part where we didn't before, while holding onto previously machined surfaces. That's about it for Operation 2, so thank you for watching. Clay is going to put the time lapse after this, so take care.